Hi, welcome once again to this week's edition of Premium Times Weekly Podcast. I'm your host, Titi Lope Fadari. Electronic transmission of election results or no electronic transmission was what turned the floor of the two chambers of the National Assembly to a pack in Oshodi. If you weren't familiar with the chamber before, you could easily have thought Nigerian thugs now wear agbada and suit and tie. But hey, it was democracy at work. Amidst chaos and dissatisfaction, particularly opposition PDP lawmakers, the two houses of the National Assembly passed the Electoral Act by denying INEC the power to decide how to transmit election results electronically. You recall that the electronic transmission of results was one of the most debated topics after the 2019 elections, and in what would be a well-choreographed political trickery, the presiding officers during the deliberation of the bill in both houses used unprecedented legislative maneuver to make the bill pass with an imprint of politicians in it. That what some Nigerians wanted was clear never mattered. The lawmakers bypassed INEC by giving the power to determine the use of electronic transmission in an election to the Nigerian Communications Commission, followed by an approval from the National Assembly. Now, the head of NCC, a political appointee under the Minister for Communications and subject to the President's mandate, being a determinant of an electoral action means INEC is dependent when it comes to e-results. When you also consider the lawmakers having a say in the whole process, you know what to expect now. The Nigerian media this week made a bold step to push the Buhari-led government in the chest and tell them the press won't cow to the government's move to regulate the media. An entire day of the week had major dailies and television chyrons publishing an advertorial charging the government to drop two controversial media bills at the National Assembly. The Nigerian Press Council and the Nigerian Broadcasting Commission amendment bills seek to regulate the online media and also give the President and the Minister of Information say in the press leadership in the country. Nigerian Press said it has made its stand known and has warned the government not to push its luck too far in a bid to stifle the press. Any Nigerian who dares to praise President Muhammadu Buhari in public risks being stoned or criticized by Nigerians who are angry about the country's economic woes. Those are not my words. Those were the words of a chieftain of the ruling All Progressive Congress, Andrew Uchendu, who was a former senator where he represented Rivers East District. Although he maintained that the troubles in the country were the sole doing of the president and that Buhari has performed well, Mr. Oshodi tried to be here and there at the same time. But the former governor of Osun State, Olagunsoye Oyinlola, took a side when he criticized President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration over its failure to tackle security challenges rocking Nigeria. The governor between 2003 and 2010, under the umbrella of People's Democratic Party (PDP), Mr. Oyinlola defected to the All Progressive Congress (APC) shortly after the 2014 governorship election in the state, after which he again returned to the PDP. He was one of those who campaigned for Mr. Buhari ahead of the 2015 general elections. Mr. Oyinlola said those that supported and canvassed for Mr. Buhari are already seeking forgiveness from God. He said Buhari was a case of what you ordered online versus what you got. That's a cheeky remark used to describe an expectation that was not met after one had raised high hopes of getting satisfaction that never was. Did you know that men are also victims of marital abuses? According to the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Response Team's biannual report, 194 men were assaulted by their wives within the past 6 months in Lagos. This figure is a 44.33% increase from the 108 assault cases reported by men from January 2020 to June 2020. Although some women were assaulted, as the current data show that while 194 men representing 15% were assaulted, 1,125 of the adults representing 85% were female. And of these adults, 77% were married, 11% single, 7% widowed and divorced, while 5% were cohabiting. Likewise, of the 1,329 adults, 1,236 were aged between 18 years and 45 years, while 93 were 45 years and above. A further breakdown of the figures show that 954 adults reported domestic violence, 53 reported rape, and 29 reported attempts to commit rape and sexual assault. The data also showed that 24 people reported sexual assault by penetration and threats, while 269 were for others. The report also revealed that the top 5 local government areas in which the assaults were reported are Alimosho, 200 cases, Ikeja, 124 cases, Kosofe, 123 cases, Ikorodu, 115 cases, and Oshodi Solo, 95 cases. As always, this edition was written by Yusuf Akinpelu. I am Titi Lope Fadari. See you next week, and again, do not forget, if you like this podcast, please share it and favorite on the podcast platform, and also visit www.premiumtimesng.com to catch the latest edition of this podcast series. I can't wait to hear from you from the podcast platform.